This segment of our series, we're going to be speaking about leadership, the critical role that leaders play in establishing psychological safety at the workplace, but also the pressures and mental health challenges leaders have as they navigate complex work scenarios and change, which is happening all the time, especially in Ottawa these days. And to help with that, I'm interviewing a very dear friend, Deann Young. Deann is a new business owner and entrepreneur, having recently established a new coaching and advisory practice, Life at Work. Her practice focuses on work-life through a conscious approach to leadership, culture, and change that ultimately helps to support psychological safety in organizations and foster wellness within organizations and the communities in which they operate. Deann is a certified coach and is also certified in psychological health and safety with the CMHA. And she's an excellent consultant and highly recommend her work. So welcome, Deann.
Thank you.
So nice to have you.
Intro.
Thanks. We're going to spend a little bit of time just getting to know each other, or letting you get, talk a little bit about yourself. The first thing I'll talk, though, maybe actually I'll start with your company. Tell me a little bit about your company and what change you want to make with it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I've been in the field for about 25 years now, and as you mentioned, just new small business owner. And really the focus of my small practice is around enhancing life at work. And really doing that through a people-centric approach to leadership, culture, and change, which are my areas of focus. I just think there's an opportunity, and when you and I chatted about this campaign with the Royal, I thought that's exactly the impetus for my practice and the type of work and where I like to play in this space.
So you've generously donated to our campaign, showing leadership financially, but also with your time and your talent. Tell me a little bit, Deann, why mental health care is such an important cause for you, whether it's through your practice, what you see in your clients, or even maybe your own personal experience. What's your why?
Yeah, thanks so much. I'll start with personally and then move over to the professional side. For me, I think mental health touches everyone every day to some degree, whether that's your own mental health or the health of someone you know and love. Mm-hmm. It really shapes the way we think, we feel, how we connect with others. And we've made huge strides. Obviously, we're having conversations like this, so we've normalized the discussion. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important that we continue to invest in the mental health system. Mm-hmm. And increase access to that within our community. Yeah.
So you are doing that through your practice with, supporting leaders in making managing challenging scenarios and environments. But you're also a business leader and an owner and a new entrepreneur at that. So maybe talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges you've had, some of the realities of being self-employed, starting off at a time economically in Ottawa where it's tough these days. So maybe, how's it been? How are you navigating that?
Yeah. It's been, I would say, exciting because it's something that I feel very passionate about. I think as a small business owner, we all have a sense of burnout. Mm-hmm. So we're all trying to do more with less these days. Mm-hmm. Feeling a sense of connection has been challenging for me, and so I'm really trying to be intentional about connecting with people in person and building up my own network. But the generosity that you get from other small business owners is amazing. So I'm leaning on that.
Yeah, the connection, the community, right? This is one of the sort of the visions about this campaign, is that we can create a community for everyone's benefit. Let me take you back to your clients, and I don't want to ask you to betray any confidences or anything like that, but you are in the business of promoting a healthy culture work-life wellness and psychological safety in the workplace. Tell me some of the stresses that people are dealing with these days. How bad is it? Like, I get a sense that it's not great in certain circles. And then maybe, what do we have to do as a community, whether we're leaders or the managers themselves, to overcome some of that? What are some of the issues and then the strategies?
Yeah, I think in my professional world, something that moved me throughout my career was observing how the day-to-day work life, so whether that's behaviors, interactions, the norms, essentially workplace culture, how it profoundly impacts the people. And I'm talking on every level, so resilience, collaboration, innovation, well-being. And that doesn't just stay with the individual, it doesn't just stay within the workplace. It has a very real ripple effect into our personal lives, hitting our family, friends, and hitting the community. When I work with organizations, I think some of the real stresses that I see, again, I already mentioned burnout. I think there's absolutely anxiety and a sense of uncertainty given the volume and pace of change these days, not just within an organization, but things out of our control in the world more broadly. And that piece is hitting leaders significantly because, of course, as leaders, we not only have to accept and go through the change ourselves, but we also have a really important role in pushing that change through successfully within the organization. And I would say lastly, some inner tension or conflict when the organization says it stands for one thing, and then the experience that we feel is different in our day-to-day, and that can be really tricky for people.
Yeah, I can see how leaders would be the meat in the sandwich, really,
Yes.
eh?
Yes.
That they're experiencing the change and the stress, and they're also expected to help their staff manage that.
That's
and
right.
they may not be well equipped for that. So from a wellness perspective, I mean, obviously this is about mental health and wellness. What do you think, and I think about it in Ottawa's context, because we're going to see a bunch of cuts. We're going to see a lot of austerity. It's not a pleasant place to be in some of my clients right now. What do those organizations need in terms of support from people like you, but also in terms of their approach to wellness? Where's the gap, and what might we encourage these organizations, our clients, to do, and maybe other business owners to do as well?
Yeah, a big part of what I do in my practice is really working with leaders to better equip them with people-centric skills and to really enable them to foster a more positive workplace. So we explore things like, what would a psychologically safe workplace look like? What would it feel like? We focus on skills like interpersonal intelligence, self-awareness. And then I think the part of the focus that's really interesting is then saying, okay, beyond the research and best practice, how would an individual actually do that? So what would it look like for you, Carmen, to do some of these behaviors given your personality, your leadership style, your strengths? And so really trying to make it real for individuals. And I think another interesting conversation is to really have a sense of, okay, what are our values as an organization, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
So we're really good, and we put a lot of thought into listing those, and that's really important, but what does that mean? What are the behaviors we want to see? What are the behaviors that we don't want to see and that we will discourage? And what will we tolerate within an organization? Because at the end of the day, that's the work-life experience that will hit our employees and will either help or hinder well-being.
Yeah. One of the things we're talking about in different ways throughout all the series of these interviews is stigma.
Yes.
And people's comfort. I mean, we're seeing with some of our powerful speakers, people being vulnerable and talking about it, but it's not necessarily a skill a lot of people have to put themselves out there, or
Sure.
to be comfortable hearing or even navigating an employee's mental illness or stress or anxiety with other people. So if you're supporting leaders, what kind of investment do you think is needed? Are people able at this stage? Are people willing even to go there? And if they're not, what might we do collectively to support that?
Yeah, I think if we think about a people-centric approach to leadership, it really, what we mean by that is, taking a disciplined approach to understanding what those skills are, and like I said, how I personally would do that. I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all. I do think it's important to respect the individual leadership style and what you're good at, and really be able to understand where you can play a strong role in promoting well-being and preventing harm within the workplace. I do think it's really around exploring what does it look like for you as an individual. I do think, and I'm glad you asked the question, that there's a perception that these skills come naturally to people, that these skills are easy, that these skills are optional, and the research shows us that they're not. They're critical to organizational success on every level, and they're certainly critical to the well-being of our people. And we want our people to thrive within the workplace and beyond. So certainly worth the investment.
Yeah, no, that makes great sense. And it isn't intuitive. And it's messy, right? Sometimes it's messy.
And it's good to have a place to practice and talk it through.
Yeah.
Again, that conversation around what would it look like? What can I do? What will I be willing to do tomorrow? And then be able to circle back and say, how did that feel?
Yeah.
Was that awkward? Was I good at that?
Yeah.
Who could I learn from?
And that's why your coaching practice comes in so handy to supplement your advisory services,
That's
right?
it.
Because it is a very human element. So let me take you back, maybe as a final set of questions or question, to leadership from a business perspective.
Sure.
So one of the premises of this campaign is that as a community of small businesses, we have power to drive change in our city, in our community, in our client group, whatever. You, like me, have a one-person practice with collaborators. What is your commitment to, how are you using your platform to advance on matters of wellness, matters of mental health in the community? Are there specific things you are committed to doing or using strategies to advance that?
Yeah, I'm aiming to use my platform to better equip leaders, and so many of my services are focused on that and focused on people-centric skills that I hope enables a more positive workplace culture. I also hope to shift the perception of people-centric skills and people-centric leadership. Again, I think it's a really powerful opportunity that we have to achieve results with our people rather than at the cost of our people.
Awesome. I love that. Well, that might be a really good way to end the conversation, Deann. This has been really helpful. I really appreciate your perspective, because I think as I'm hearing all of the people we're talking to, and based on my own experience, the leader, whether it's a leader of a small shop or a deputy minister or a president and CEO, sets such an important tone for organizations, and is, in some ways, can make or break the psychological safety of an organization. So paying attention to that and giving staff and other leaders safe places to land is really critical in maintaining wellness. So big thank you for your time and your talent, and we look forward to seeing you at our big final community event.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.